This past week, Dark Side of the Ring released part one of their two-part season premiere for Dark Side of the Ring, Brian Pillman. So they're covering the life and story of Brian Pillman. We saw part one. They released it on their YouTube channel. Part two is going to appear, like I said, on Thursday night. Trevor, you had a chance to watch it, I believe.
It,
What did you think of it? What did you think of part one? What are you looking forward to in part two? Let me know what you think.
um, so what's funny is I saw your video on it first before I actually watched it,
Ah,
and
damn it. Spoiler alert, Trevor.
but I didn't watch all the way. I didn't watch all the way through because I wanted to watch it. So,
Mhm.
um, but it's funny because like I always thought like I was so. Of course, I'm a bit older, and I remember seeing Scotch. I remember seeing him coming in the ring more, and like I think I missed. I was on the tail end of the Varsity Blondes. No, I mean I'm sorry, the Hollywood Blondes, and dude, I remember him in the ring. Him and Steve Austin in the ring was just amazing. His career was up and down roller coaster, man. Like him and Steve went through a lot,
Mhm.
in WWE and in the ECW and all those things. Him being hurt for so long, and because like honestly, I thought it was a shame that once he's hurt, after he's hurt, the first big feud you put him in is over. Like I thought that was a waste of talent, but
Yeah, same. That was not a good feud.
it wasn't. It wasn't. But and actually, unfortunately, that was the last time he was in the ring because like they found him in his hotel room after that. But like it was it. Dark Side of the Ring did not disappoint. I don't think they've ever disappointed me so far. In the two seasons they've been on, they have not disappointed me at all. This was a good one.
Yeah,
This was really good. I can't wait for the second
yeah,
part.
I agree. Like Trevor said, I made a video outlining all my takeaways, and but I think my biggest one that I got from this that I didn't know before was, I guess, because like, look, professional wrestling, like, it gets a bad rap because people think like, oh, it's all about the bronze. There's no brains. There's no aptitude. There's no intelligence behind it. One thing that I learned from this, Trevor, was that Brian Pillman put a lot of thought into what
He
he
did.
did, and it was a lot of it was meticulous. And like Steve Austin told a story about him and Brian Pillman in WCW when they were part of the Hollywood Blondes. They would be going up and down the roads. Austin would be driving. Pillman would be in the passenger seat, and the entire time he's sitting there, he's reading the dictionary. He's reading the dictionary. He's expanding his vocabulary, and it's not just like he said that he did it primarily for his promos, and so that Pillman could like incorporate more words in his promos to stand out more. And that was great. I thought that was great. That's like a little tidbit we didn't know before, and I think that's the part Dark Side of the Ring. What they do so great is that like obviously their bottom line is telling tragedies in sports. It's called Dark Side of the Ring,
Right.
but they have such a great they do such a great job of like giving you these insights, these tidbits that are positives as well throughout sprinkled throughout the story, and they give you a bigger picture of everything going into like what eventually happens. And that's what we got with part 1. And it was so insightful. Like, I had
But
no idea that Brian Pillman was so thoughtful about his character. I had no idea. Like, look, I knew about the I Respect You Booker Man, and like how he worked WCW into a shoot and got his release
yeah,
and all that, which was the genius it took to do all of that, by the way. And and the whole time playing up this gimmick, like the fact that he did this entirely in order to like get more money, the fact that he did this entirely to sell people on his gimmick, it was so smart. Like,
well,
when you think of, like, I genuinely think Brian Pillman, like, just by those actions, like, especially that work shoot, might be one of the most like one it might be one of the smartest moves in professional wrestling history for him to do. Because what did that lead to? It led to the first guaranteed downside guaranteed contract in WWE history.
sure
Like,
did.
that is crazy, man, when you
At the
think about
time,
it. And it
he was one of the biggest free agents in wrestling at one point in time. Like
100% agree.
he
Like,
was he was amazing.
yeah, he's great. And like you said, part 2 is coming out, and obviously we know that, like, what happens, but I think for Brian Pillman's legacy, I think this is such an important, like, this is such an important story to be told, because a lot of times when you hear about Brian Pillman, it's like, oh, he's a loose cannon, he's crazy, he's out, he's unhinged, like, like, that's all you ever hear from WWE. That's all you ever hear from whenever anyone talks about it, they gloss over everything. And it always comes back to loose cannon, unhinged. But this showed, I guess, a little bit of a dichotomy in his own character, like, like how, like, he played this loose cannon character, and somehow, like, maybe he went a little too hard into it. Maybe that's what led to some of his problems. I mean, we'll find out obviously on Thursday when the season premieres. But I think, like, it's just so interesting, this kind of stuff. And it gives you a whole different perspective on Brian Pillman, and I enjoyed it. I cannot wait for the next one. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.